Welcome to the Wedding Favours podcast with me, Ollie Stevens, otherwise known as the Devon Wedding Singer. Whether you're newly engaged or simply putting the finishing touches on your big day, we're here to help make your wedding everything you've ever dreamed of. Join me and my expert guests as we tackle the ups and downs of wedding planning with less stress and more confidence. If you're after expert advice, insider tips, and a few laughs, you're in the right place. Let's make wedding planning easier together. Hey, welcome back to Wedding Favours podcast. It's Ollie here. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and thank you for listening to all the previous episodes too. That means a lot to me. I've had some really good response and really good feedback from previous episodes. Today is a conversation between myself and Sean Raymond. You might know him as Sean Hodge. He is a wedding videographer, and he's a damn good one too. We're going to be talking about why Sean feels that videography deserves a place right up there with photography. I'll let him explain more about that in this episode, but I think he makes a good point. Videography doesn't just capture the visuals, it captures the sounds and, the mannerisms of our loved ones. It sees things that we don't see as the point, from the point of view of the bride and the groom. And certainly if you have a second shooter, which is something that Sean talks about as well, if your budget allows, you can get more than one angle. And yeah, it's just something that we can have and cherish for many years to come. Let's get straight into the episode. Thank you so much again, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, welcome, Sean.
Hi, Ollie.
Thanks for being here.
No worries, mate.
And we had a really good chat just a minute ago about how we first met, and we couldn't really decide on where it was, but we know it was sometime a couple of years ago.
Was it a couple of years? Was it 3? Was it 2? I don't even know.
2 years, maybe.
It all mixes into one, right?
It does. I remember it was a very, very hot day.
Yep.
I was lucky enough to be under a tree. Well,
I wasn't lucky enough. I was running around as well.
Yeah.
Moving cameras in the heat.
I felt for those groomsmen. They were wearing black tuxedos, which I guess if you've already chosen your suit, there's no changing it. You can't quickly just run it back and get a white one.
Yeah.
Or just not wear it. I remember the groom had this towel sort of like on the, the steps as they come down.
Yeah, this is Deer Park, right?
Deer Park, yeah. The towel was just there on the bottom of the steps. He had to keep reaching for it and kept mopping his brow as he was doing
It's really tough when it's hot like that, especially for video for brides as well, when like makeup is dripping off them. It's it's pretty. I did one wedding. It was an even hotter day than that, if I remember. It was in Wembury. We did a shoot straight after because they wanted some video at the church, or video and photos at the church, and I just couldn't get anything because it was just.
Oh, really?
It was melting off her. Yeah. Wow. And so that does, they don't want to see that, do they, on the film? So
she could have done with like one of her bridesmaids holding an umbrella over her or something,
I think we tried to find some shade or whatever, but it was really, really tough.
So is there any way around other than the umbrella?
I mean, she did like a touch up later in the day when it was cooler, and so we kind of went out a bit later to get some bits, but. She wanted stuff at the church, you see. That was a problem. I think I managed to get like some more kind of distant shots where it wasn't so close on them.
So you're not focusing in on the beadings, the beads of sweat coming off her head.
Bless her. It was, I think she knew it as well.
Okay.
She knew it, and she was like, I just want to go now. Like, it was rough.
I guess that's it. You got to ride the storm. Yeah. Quite literally. If you get stormy weather, you got to roll with it. If you get hot weather, how are you? You must be quite good at sort of rolling. You've done quite a few weddings, so you must be good at rolling with those kind of punches.
Rolling with the punches, yeah. I think, weather is kind of the main one. There's little tricks and little things that you can kind of, you have in your arsenal to kind of like pull out when you need to.
Okay.
It's just managing the day. I mean, whatever happens, you got to make sure it works, right?
Yeah. So, do you want to share any of those little?
There was a wedding I did at Tunnels Beach, and obviously it's a beach wedding. There's very much, they're there for the beach, and so it was raining all day, obviously. Yeah. So I couldn't really get anything on the beach. I couldn't really get any, like the ceremony was indoors, which is not ideal for that type of venue. So we did the best we could, and then I just remember using the rain as a kind of way of making some dramatic shots, like backlighting them in the evening.
Nice.
So going like, guys, you've had the day now. Let's get. We're gonna have to get a bit wet. You don't have to look pristine right now.
Yeah.
Let's go out. Let's have some fun. And so
Yeah.
we just backlit them in the rain, basically.
Yeah.
So
And just embrace.
embraced it. Yeah.
Cool. Why is videography so important for wedding days in particular?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and it's good to see you was it last week, was it, at Upton?
Yeah.
Yeah. That video did really well, didn't it?
It
was.
Yeah.
I think the point I was making in that video, and actually I'm on a bit of a mission to make couples aware of how valuable and how important video is.
Yeah.
And it should be thought of at the earlier stages.
Okay.
I feel like videography is still after the chocolate fountain in priority lists, and it's quite a frustrating thing because the value in having people's mannerisms and their sounds captured on film is such a vital thing, and actually it only gets more and more valuable as time goes on. I'd say probably half of my inquiries are, we're looking at videography, it's been last on the list, and whether or not the budget can extend for it. Mm. And I just feel like that's such a shame. That's such a shame to have that as such a low priority, when really the things that are going to last after the wedding day are the photos, the video. It's capturing those memories and the vibe of the day. That you've spent so much money on all the elements that come into creating that day. Mm. I don't think it should be a latter priority to preserve that.
Yeah.
I think and actually photo is up there on the priority.
Sure.
It is one of the first things. I think
Yeah.
you go venue, then photographer, perhaps.
Yeah.
I think that it should be venue, photo, videography.
Yeah.
But as I was discussing in that video that we were talking about, and to make the same point, I don't remember how my granddad sounds.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of pictures of him, not very many actually, but I don't remember how he sounds. So to capture, the sounds and mannerisms of the people you love, which, by the way, probably, I'd argue, the one time in your life where everybody you love is in one room at one time.
Definitely.
It seems when you talk about it like this, it seems such an obvious thing to make sure you capture it, right? Yeah. Because that is what becomes more and more valuable as people pass away and leave us. To look back on that video and say, do you remember how Grandad used to laugh? And do you remember how Granny used to dance and do that funny dance? Yeah. Those are the bits that I'm looking for, that I want to capture.
Yeah.
And I think it is important to think about that.
Yeah.
At an earlier stage.
Yeah, and you're capturing everyone's personality, especially when they're a little bit more loose, when they, maybe had a couple of drinks and.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're sort of also just, it's kind of like that thing, if it isn't recorded, then it didn't happen, almost,
Yeah.
so.
And it's so accessible to just do that now, I'm sure we'll talk about it in a minute, but the way you can deliver these wedding films now, it's so easy to just bring it up on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was going to be one of my questions, actually, which we might as well talk about. I asked you the other day say I'm sitting around my grandparents' house and I want to get the wedding video out.
Yep.
Do I have to get out my laptop, hard drive? Is there a service that you offer that is easier?
Yes, there is. Yeah, it's it's quite a recent thing, actually. I think people are still expecting it to be like a USB, and you've got to set the laptop up and plug in the HDMI lead and whatnot. There's a service I use called VidFlow, which is like the industry standard at the minute. Like, so many people are using it. It's a great service. It's effectively a mini Netflix for your wedding gallery.
Cool.
So, and I don't think couples are using it. My couples are using it as valuable as they could, because you can stream it to your TV. So any smart TV that can download apps, you can download the VidFlow app, and then I think you log in with the code that you get on your phone, and it links it up.
Yeah.
Equally, you can put it comes up as an app on your phone. So when you log into the VidFlow site or the gallery through my delivery, there'll be a little icon that says like, do you want to make this a home app? And you press OK, and it just pops up like an app, and so you can access it on your phone. I don't think many people realise that.
No.
Yeah, and I've actually set up an Instagram video to try and explain VidFlow a bit better, because I don't think couples are utilising it as much as they could. But it's a fantastic service, and so it's all done online. Delivery is really quick. There's no USBs anymore. I mean, if you did want that, you did want a USB, then that comes at an extra charge, and I can do that for you. But I don't think there's any need for it now in this day and age.
But the VidFlow service that you offer is included in your price?
It's included in the price, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so... And does it come with any kind of, what's the word, like a watermark of your, your logo or anything? Can they just use that video
They're just when you log on, there'll be my logo on the home page. So it kind of looks like an old, it's like a DVD menu almost. So there'll be your picture, and there'll be like my logo with like access to my website on it and things like that. But once you select one of your videos at the bottom, then everything comes up, and there's no like branding on it. It's just you guys. You know. I'll have my branding at the end of the video, of course, but no watermarks on it, which is really good. It's a brilliant service. It's really good.
I was just thinking that some people out there are going to be thinking, what the hell's a DVD?
Yeah. Well, we were just talking about this before. Like I saw a video of a 15-year-old. Well, I don't know. He looked to me about 15, but he had a cassette in his hand. Like, where does the jack go for the headphones in this? You know. It's crazy, right? But
little do they know how much we struggled,
Dial-up tone.
God, yeah, that haunts me this day.
You don't need that to access VidFlow. It's all on your phone.
So what different styles do you use? There's loads of different styles that you could have, or do you have like a certain style that you kind of always default to, or do couples come to you and say, look, I've seen this type of style, we want to, do they kind of give you the direction that they want to go, or how does it work?
Yeah, usually it would be a case of I have obviously all my films out there on Instagram, on my website. So people come to me because they want the style that I offer.
Sure.
There are a few occasions where people will say, we've seen this, like, would you do that? Would you offer that kind of, that style? I would say that at that point, there probably is a conversation or it's important for me to let the couple know that maybe my style isn't what they want. And that's fine, that's okay. Like, there are multiple styles out there of videography. There's documentary, there's a more cinematic look. There's a real raw edit that people can have as well, where it is just the whole handy cam type vibe. Like it's really kind of raw in its nature, and all of those things are like whatever is suitable for that couple. That's great for them, right?
Yeah.
So I think at that point, when someone asks me if I would change my style a little bit, there is a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah.
Because I might not be the right fit.
Yeah.
They might see the films online and all of that stuff is promotional content, really, that is kind of to entice people to come and inquire.
Yeah.
But at that point, if what I offer isn't what they want really, and I can tell that, I will say, this person might be more suitable, this person might be more suitable.
Yeah.
Which is really important, because I want to make sure that I'm giving the best service, and I know that I'm going to be able to deliver the best product, editing and filming in my style.
Yeah.
And if somebody else that wants a different style, there's going to be somebody out there for them.
Yeah.
That does that.
And as much as you don't want to turn work away, it could make your life even more difficult, couldn't it, by trying to do something
exactly that
completely different.
Exactly
That's
that.
a good point. I had years ago, I had a couple. I was singing for their ceremony, and I usually get them to choose 5 songs. So one is they enter the bridal entrance, 3 songs for the signing of the register, and 1 for the grand exit. And all 5 of the songs were female vocal songs.
Okay, right, yeah.
So it was like Adele, your Shania Twain's, Beyonce's Halo. And I was like, I could really say to them that I think you might want to get a female vocalist for this, because
interesting.
You're leaning towards, and the similar sort of thing you were saying a minute ago. So But I didn't.
Oh, you
I
didn't?
just said, yeah, I'll do it. But I did have like a massive caveat. I was like, you know that it's me. You know what my voice sounds like. I'm not going to try and hit those high notes like a,
Yeah,
you know, like a Beyonce or
Yeah.
even a Shania, you know. And I just adapted it to, you know, to my voice and my style, and it was just an acoustic guitar. So I think if you can adapt and work with the client but be really upfront and say, look, you're not always going to get, or you're not going to get it to sound like the record. Let's just get that, you know, straight away, you know. But if you can,
because you're the subject matter expert in that field for that couple.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying, of course, there's a different style that they want potentially. So you've had that conversation.
Yeah.
And there's so much planning going on for the couple. We just want a singer. We know Ollie's great. Like, then that conversation opens up doors for those other elements, right? Like video.
Yeah.
So it's like, we want video. I've seen these videos online. Sean's great. Then when that is like, oh, maybe we want this and this, as the subject matter expert in your field, you're kind of navigating that, which is important.
Yeah, I mean, chances are that they've come to you because they've seen you. They've either seen you in action, they've seen your work online. So, you know, this is for the listener out there. If you're going to a supplier and you've seen them based on what they've already made, then just trust them on what they've already made and doing it in that same sort of style, whether it's a singer or a florist or a videographer or whoever.
Yeah.
As soon as you start to try and adapt it too much, then you may as well just go to somebody else with respect, you know.
Yeah. And it's just that conversation, isn't it, that you've got to have with them. I think for creatives, you know, you need to make sure that you're leaning into what they're doing, what is best for them, what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and that's important. And it's not something that you're going to consider at that kind of crazy stage where you're booking everything for a wedding.
Yeah.
You know. So I think it probably all suppliers, it's a real moment to just, you know, once they do inquire, is to speak to the couple and just bring them back a little bit and just make them relax and say, okay, I know you want this. This is what I offer. This is what, you know, we need to think about this a little more.
Yeah.
Because it's not a case of just, you know, ticking off these elements.
Or saying yes, sir, no, sir, and whatever you want. So, yeah, you've got to, as I said before, you could end up making a lot of work for yourself by being a yes man and then going, oh, I wish I'd just guided them a bit more to what I can actually do and what I want to do. Because you're really creative. I like the work that you do.
Great, thanks, mate. Yeah.
When you're working with other suppliers, do you sort of like touch base with them beforehand if you've not worked with them before, especially like videographers? I know that you tend to sort of, there's a kind of an overlap, or you know, you sort of work a lot alongside them, don't you?
Yeah, with photographers, So it's a collaborative day.
I just wondered how you were able to establish, especially when it's someone new, how do you establish it? Do you sort of like, when you get to the venue and you go, right, you're standing there, I'll stand here kind of thing, do you have a sort of...
Yeah, it's just a conversation, isn't it? Yeah. It's just a simple conversation, and I think some people probably struggle with that, and actually the people that tend to be behind the camera are quite introverted people.
Yeah.
You know, they naturally gravitate to that element, that side of things. But I'm quite an outgoing person. I can like make sure I chat to people and tell them my movements. Photographer, I'm going to go here. Would you mind? And I think you just got to check in with them. You just got to keep checking in with the photographer and say, this is my idea. This is where I want to be.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work for you, fine. Let me know, and we'll make it work.
It's so important.
It's so important, and you just don't go in being a diva.
Yeah.
is the key to it, I think.
Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong.
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to be a diva. You're a singer. But I think that's the key. It's the end of the day. Yes, you're creating something beautiful that you're proud of, but fundamentally you are delivering something for the client.
Yeah.
And if your movements on the day inhibit the photographer's job,
or anyone else's,
like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And so that's where experience comes in.
Yeah.
There's been many occasions where I've not been in the position that I want to be. I've managed to deliver an awesome film.
Yeah.
You know, there's many times where the photographer said to me, this is really important from a photo point of view. I've been on a call and I need to get this.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I know that now.
Yeah.
That's not a priority for me. I'll go off and do something else.
Yeah.
So it's just communicating with the suppliers. It's easy when you know everybody.
Okay.
You know, even down to the hair and makeup. You know, there's a lot of people in the West Country here that I see on a regular basis.
Yeah, we're doing all these fairs and we're doing all the networking and stuff.
Of course. And so that becomes really easy then once I go into a room and I know so-and-so's on hair, so-and-so's on makeup, and I can say, do you mind, like we did last time, getting something in the window?
First name, Emma, do you mind if I do this? You know, so that's...
Exactly, and the same for photo. So once there's a team of people that you're always working with and you've got a good relationship with, it does become easier. Yeah. But does it become easier with a new person? I think it's the same. I think there isn't a problem at all there. It's just there's probably a longer process of like just introducing yourself and just being able to let them know you're still looking to do this job, but if their job is more important in that element, like, great. Like,
we just kind of step back a little bit. I think what is important though as well, from the couple's point of view, is allowing that conversation. So, for example, they don't know that you know their videographer or their photographer, for example. They don't know if you do. But I would say sending out an itinerary of who's who, so which suppliers. I've had this quite a few times and it's really helpful. So you go, right, you send out to every single one of your suppliers who's on the gig. So who's doing the flowers, who's doing the makeup. It may not be relevant to me as a singer who the makeup artist is, but it's still good for me to know that she's been on that gig. And more importantly, for people like yourself who are working alongside, if you get that heads up of who's there on the day, or even just kind of behind the scenes, it gives you the chance to maybe email and just say, hey, looking forward to working with you. Is there anything I might need to know about, what the setup is?
And I have done that a few times, and photographers have messaged me and said, I'm really looking forward to working with you. We've not worked together yet, and that's really nice. And I'm really thankful for that message. I think there's a natural kind of hierarchy with weddings from a photo and video point of view, where like the photographer is usually the lead. I do interject quite a lot, but respectfully, I'll say, do you mind if before we move on, photographer, if we can just do a little bit here for video because I need a bit of motion, and so I do interject quite a lot. But naturally, video is more of a fly on the wall type element. So most videographers will kind of ease off. And so there's that natural kind of relationship there where the photographer does lead. So messaging a photographer, I tend to just like leave that to them. But it's no problem on the day.
Sure.
It's just
but I think at least the point I was making is that if the couple shares that information
of course.
on, that's the key thing.
In fact, I've got in my questionnaire, I've got that once I send out the questionnaire a month before the wedding, that's on my list. It's like, what suppliers do you have on the day? And I know then going in, if I know hair and makeup and I know everybody, then I don't need to worry about introducing myself to these people, and just kind of, I know straight away, okay, I've worked with Emma before, so I know that she's happy for me to do the final touches later.
With Ollie, I know that he's not going to stand in the way of my camera that's just there.
And what's really good is I can be quite blunt with you in certain places. Is
that the marine background?
maybe. But like I can, if I was to say to you, Ollie, mate, I need you to get out of the way now. Like, you're going to get out of the way because you know that you know me. And so we've got a relationship, and you know that I'm doing that all in aid of the client. Whereas if there's somebody you didn't know, and they were just like, Ollie, move out the way, or just like, oh, you singer, move out the way, you'd probably have a natural kind of like, that's...
Well, I make a point, so I'll go and meet anyone that I can introduce myself to on the day. So it's like the registrar or celebrant, whoever, and it's the techie people, it's like yourselves, video, and I'll say, look, I'm thinking of standing here. If you need me to be anywhere else, let me know. And it just opens up that kind of, that pathway to, oh, okay, he's open to me moving him around or whatever. So I think that's important for any suppliers that are listening, you know, just talk to each other. My kids will probably cringe if they hear this, but it's like, you're not the main character. That's something that my kids say quite often. You know, it's like the bride and groom, they're the ones. It's ultimately, it's about delivering a performance or a service or a package or whatever it is for them. So you've got to work with other suppliers to make that happen. Otherwise, if you're the one that gets in the way of that shot, or, you know, you're being a diva, that's going to get spread around. Isn't it? I worked with Ollie Stevens last week on a wedding.
Such a diva.
He is such a diva, and he wouldn't move. He wouldn't get out of my way of the shot. You know, his volume was too loud. It's just all these things that kind of make me go, oh shit, I never want to be that person.
It's same for video. Same for video. It's you just got to take a step back. I think creatives are so passionate about what they're producing that it can be all they think about. But actually, just take a step back. It's about the couple. It's about what they want and what you're delivering to them. And if you know we're all collaborating on the day to provide this service for the couple, so it is important to have that conversation. And I guess just knowing people beforehand eliminates that kind of the time in making those, you know, that initial rapport with somebody. But
Can I talk to you about dream wedding locations?
Yes, you can.
What would be your dream wedding location?
Location-wise, I feel like, I mean, I want to move into more destination weddings. I feel like there's just some beautiful locations out there, like coastal stuff would be really nice, like maybe Italy, maybe Greece, that type of. I mean, I have a few destination weddings coming up this year, which is great. So yeah, I think not in Italy actually. I'd like to do like Lake Como. I think a lot of people tend to. I've seen a lot of stuff on socials of people having some beautiful locations in Lake Como. So I'm still yet to book a Lake Como wedding, but that would be lovely.
So anyone out there,
get in touch.
Get in touch.
I think what it is it's having the option to do different things at those locations. You can get on a boat. You can like go for a drive in like a fancy open top car maybe or something. Like there's some beautiful greenery around. Like maybe there's some mountains. There's just options. I think that's what I'm drawn to. And of course it's beautiful. It's sunny.
It's the weather's more reliable.
More reliable. Exactly. So that's always somewhere I want to kind of move into because it just makes my job easier. I guess. I mean, the travel and logistics probably not easier, but like on the day, I guess there's just so much beautiful stuff around you that it's a bit of a playground for a videographer.
Do you use a drone as well, don't you?
Use a drone as well, yeah.
How many, or how much of the drone is involved in your? Is it sort of like a standard offering that you do, or is that an extra? Or?
It's an extra for me because there's a lot of people that use a smaller drone, which you don't need like a license for, and so, which is fine. The quality is not as good. I'm really hot on the quality of I mean, the first drone I had was such bad quality that I've always been a bit scarred by that. Like I'm really hot on the quality that I get from my drone. With that, it's a bigger drone. It costs me in my licensing and specialist insurance. So it is an extra, but it's with that comes extra work, effectively, because I'm contacting the venue to be able to fly. I'm making sure that everyone's safe with the risk assessments I'm putting in. I mean they're so good drones. Like they're you know, there's no real risk, but you do have to put in that. That kind of admin before, so that's kind of why it's a little extra. If
it's reassuringly expensive.
Exactly.
To quote Stella or whoever it was, you know, like you pay extra for.
I'm doing it properly. I'm doing it properly. That element of it, and that's important to me. So, it's. I wouldn't say it doesn't operate kind of a lot like across my films. Like what I'll do is I'll take snippets of it. I think some people are drone kind of nerds and they love it.
Okay.
And that gets put in a lot of their films. For me, it's just a bit of spice. It's just a bit of flavour of like, here's a wide shot of your venue, you know, your beautiful venue that you spent all that money on. Like, capture it in its entirety, you know.
Yeah.
So I pepper it in places.
Nice.
I don't go over the top with it.
Yeah. Your 2024 roundup video is really good. It's got
thanks,
It's
mate.
got all of that that you mentioned, that sort of peppering, the spice.
Yeah. I think I put a little section of like where the music kind of changes. There's like I think 5 or 6 shots of like drone, like my favourite kind of drone shots of the year.
Yeah. And where were you when they were doing some sort of like big wipeout kind of, it's a knockout type thing?
That was in North Devon. There's a wakeboarding park
Okay.
in North Devon. I think it's called like North Devon Wakeboarding,
Yeah.
I think. But the guys got married on the Saturday, and then they asked me to stay for the Sunday. And so on the Sunday, they're big wakeboarders. So they had all their guests come to the wakeboarding park the next day. Yeah, it was really fun.
Wow.
And so they've got like a total, it's a knockout or whatever it is on the side. And then they were doing wakeboarding, and their guests got involved with the wakeboarding and stuff on the Sunday. So they kind of made it like a weekend thing.
That's cool.
And they said, it's really important to us that, can we have that captured on video?
Yeah.
So me and the photographer stayed, and we did the next day down in, stayed in North Devon and did the wakeboarding park the next day, which was great fun. And it's something different for me as well.
Yeah, it's about that variety. Because you are creative, as I said, so it's like the more variety, the more kind of, the more that's going on, rather than just sort of like a normal wedding day.
Yeah.
Anything that's kind of extra, even if it's something like a bucking bronco or...
just something... I think especially for video, it's really nice because it's quite a visual thing, isn't it? Wakeboarding, you know, around and like using the drone. I mean, I was a bit concerned because there's like all the lines that go around, because they're on these lines and it's kind of automated and they pull them round.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, I must get above that level, because there's like lines and like cables that are kind of like hidden. You can't really see by the eye. So that was a bit concerning. I made sure I did all the filming like proper bits before, and then I said, right, I got to do drone now, and I got to like concentrate on this. So do a final lap, guys, and I'll make sure I get something from the air.
Well, what's the most challenging thing you've ever experienced, and how did you get around it?
I think weather.
Okay.
It's like going back to what we said before.
Yeah.
I think that's the most challenging. There's been moments where there's something really lovely happening, like a beautiful sunset, but we're in the middle of speeches and things like that. Like, that's the challenging bit for me. When I know something, you know, the couple are so engrossed with what they're doing and you know, the elements that are happening, but I can see something visually that's gonna blow the film away. That's challenging to let that go.
Oh, okay.
So that becomes, I mean, it's just a conversation again. There's an example I'm thinking of when we were in Dartmouth, and I said to the couple, I think it was between speeches, the best man was due to go at the end, and I said to the couple, I said, look, this, just before he moved on to his speech, the sunset is looking absolutely crazy. It's banging. Like, the shots you'll get are killer. They're going to be so good.
Okay.
Is there any chance that we can go do that and then do the speech after? I feel like the priority and the value that you're going to get in doing it this way will be tremendous from like a videography point of view.
Yeah.
Equally, if you want speeches to run and you want them to go now, we can try something later, but I'm telling you now, it is looking lovely. And they did. And they were like, of course. Like, thank you for coming up and letting us know.
Okay.
So we went out, and it was only 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Yeah. And I said, grab the photographer. It was like, quick, let's go. Yeah. And we got some really good kind of like backlit, beautiful sunset stuff, like on the Dartmouth Hills. It was gorgeous. Yeah. And there was like this haze that come in. Oh, it was nice. Perfect. And then we went back. People had to kind of sit and mill for a little bit, but nobody remembers that part of the day. Yeah. So you're going to see all these shots that are going to be beautiful for the video and for the photo.
And 1 year, 2 years down the line, they're going to have that evidence of that little disruption, but...
The guests are never going to remember that disruption.
Yeah.
No one's going to remember that disruption, but everyone's going to remember those photos and videos.
That's it.
Equally, if you don't want that to happen, that's cool as well.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta, again, it's just having a conversation with the couple. If they were to turn around to me and say, actually, we just want to get these speeches done, I mean, I would be heartbroken because it was so good. But it's their day. I'm not being a diva. It's their day, you know. Of course, from a creative point of view, I would want that.
Yeah.
But if they want,
I wonder if there's a sort of lesson there, in that. So depending on what time of year someone's getting married,
yep,
why not look at when sunset actually is?
I have this conversation,
and then say, right, let's avoid speeches. Between 6 and 7 or whatever.
I try and have this conversation.
Good.
Yeah. But before, maybe I should do it sooner, you know. But I have it before, like the month before the wedding, and I say, okay. Usually plans are kind of in place then, but I feel like if the videographer's messaging 6 months before saying sunset is here, like, it's not really a concern for the couple at that point, because there's loads of other things.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do it at
After
that
listening
point.
to this podcast, what these people need to do is they need to get in touch.
To plan out those elements,
the venues and everything, and look at when sunset is.
Yep.
And organise everything around that, so you've got that window of opportunity. If the weather's rubbish all day, but you get that one little window of the golden hour and all this bit, then you've already planned for that. So that's the...
And it's also quite frustrating from a band point of view, as I'm sure you're aware, that you know, if you guys are about to kick off a set, and it's the dance floor's buzzing, and then videographer and photographer come on and say, sunset is looking crazy, I need to take the couple off the dance floor. That's quite a frustrating thing for you guys.
Could be.
So, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've done that in the past, where I've looked at the band and I'm like, I'm sorry, but it's looking crazy out there and I need to take them. So, and a dance floor's always going to be better when there's the bride and groom on it.
Yeah, of course, So
I get it.
Yeah.
So again, it's just chatting to the couple. I know you want to get, I know it's crazy on the dance floor right now, but sunset's looking crazy as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think probably you're right. It's something that people need to consider a lot sooner.
Yeah.
It's British weather, so whether or not that happens, you could plan that in and it be an overcast day, and you don't get that. But maybe it's something to consider for sure. I do have that conversation, you know, before the wedding day, and I just kind of make them aware. Usually it is a conversation like, if sunset's looking good, I'll probably will come grab you if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And take you out and just take you away from whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And usually that's enough.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, there's loads to talk about there, just in that, you know, that argument of sort of taking them away from things.
Yeah.
As a couple, you know, you have to kind of get used to that throughout the day. You're going to get pulled a little bit here and there, especially when it comes to weather, as we said. I mean, even things like, from a band point of view, we just have to accept that the bride and groom aren't always going to be on the dance floor.
Yeah.
For like having to say goodbye to people, you know, as they're leaving, and or if it's fireworks, or if there's the pizza vans all ready to fire up and serve pizza. You know, there's lots of different ways that they're going to perhaps get pulled in one direction or another. So that's probably another sort of like a little heads up. Just be prepared for. I think
couples have got to just entrust their suppliers and understand that they are the subject matter experts in their field, and that they have the experience. So all they need to do is just listen to what their suppliers are saying, because the suppliers are saying that to get the best for them.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, it's not an inconvenience to them. They're going to be there doing whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
They're wanting to do these and pull you away for this bit because it's for you.
Yeah.
So just embrace that. Equally, if you're like, you know, and I say to my couples, I'll grab you at different points. If you don't want to do it, just say, you know, I'm here to serve you effectively. Like that's what it is. I'm trying to do this for you. Yeah. So if you don't want to do it, absolutely fine.
If you've had enough, if you just want to kick your shoes off and have a good old boogie, then.
So I think that's a really kind of hot take there. I'd say is that, you know, just accept that and trust the people that you have on your day to deliver the elements that you're paying for.
Yeah.
Because they just want to be able to do the best for you.
Yeah, definitely. Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
I think we've pretty much covered everything that are there any sort of like types of footage, or is there anything that you're kind of thinking of maybe trying, or that you would like to try? Any sort of trends?
There is actually. I'm trying to be more aware of the smaller moments. As you can imagine, I watch a lot of other videographers and a lot of other wedding filmmakers, and there's a couple that come to mind where their work is just fantastic, and I'm thinking like, why, like how are they achieving what they're achieving? And it's the real small moments.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I do deliver that, and I do get those moments, but there's some really interesting things that I'm trying to kind of. I guess it's having the courage to do something that's not the norm. An example of that is there's a video I've seen online from filmmakers that I admire, and they're filming the first dance, but the first dance is filmed from. There's this boy on the side of a chair, and he's looking over at the couple. I don't know who the boy is. It could be like a nephew or something. Yeah. I don't think it's their son. But he's looking at them from like over the chair, watching them dance, and the focus is on the boy, and the couple are out of focus on the dance floor, and this boy is just watching them intensely, and it's such a beautiful shot, and it's such a interesting shot that I really would love to try things like that. Now, my go-to would be like film the couple.
Okay.
But and that needs to happen.
I suppose as long as you've got a camera on them.
And
anyway.
and I guess this brings to the point of having more shooters on the day, like having somebody else to capture those moments would be something that's really beneficial for me, for the couple. It's something I do want to implement moving forward. Really, is I think another example is after you've got married and you do your confetti line, there's a lovely moment where like that's when everybody kind of greets, the first time everybody greets you as a couple, because some people have met the bride before in the morning, some people have met the groom, most people have met the groom and then go sit in their seats. The first time that they're a married couple and people want to come up and greet you is after that confetti line.
Yeah.
I miss a lot of that on my own because I'm grabbing mics off the registrar who's about to leave with my £100 microphone. I've got to turn off a camera over the B cam over at the other side of the room. I've got to grab the second camera that's been down at the front the whole time and turn that off. And I'm grabbing all this kit together and bringing everything together. By the time I've finished that, a lot of those moments have passed.
Yeah.
I try and capture them. I try and get like a little bit at the end of that confetti line. But usually the registrar is on their way out and I've got to grab that mic before they go.
Yeah.
So having a second there, it's somebody, that can capture those moments of, that boy watching them dance.
Yeah.
That's a lovely, lovely shot.
Yeah.
They can also go grab the microphone. I can be present with you guys doing that bit while my second goes and logistically gathers all the cameras, sets up the lighting in a different place. Like having a second with me, it's just such a luxury and it's such a great thing for you as a couple as well, because I can be solely focused on the creativity of what's happening. So moving forward, like that's something I want to really, really implement is, it costs. I've got to pay somebody to come with me. Yeah. So there's always that element of it for a couple. Yeah. It's like, I've got to pay this as well because you've got to have a second with me.
But it opens up that artistic.
It's so valuable.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's so valuable, and I think like for a few extra £100 to pay somebody for the day and getting shots like that and getting those, I just don't think you're going to worry about that money, in 5 years' time when you've got this beautiful video. And I'm not saying, of course, I'll make a beautiful video on my own. Yeah. But there's just these little nuances that you can get with a second that like really elevate that film.
I really like the video that you shared. There's a couple dancing in a sort of a wheat field or something. They're having like a little slow dance in the sunset. Yeah. Those are the little moments that I think you're talking about. Those kind of just something a bit different, something that is kind of, well, very emotive, and that's what's going to appeal to any, sort of future clients, isn't it?
Yeah.
That those shots that make you go, wow, like that is
And
lush.
you imagine it with two people there, that,
Yeah.
I can get a standard shot of like you guys with the scenery in, which is a beautiful shot, but then somebody else might be able to grab a bit of a more unique shot, maybe some details of like the way your hands are touching as you're doing that, or
Nice.
like maybe there's, I don't know, maybe the couple are out of focus and there's something of interest there that like...
An animal or
or that
something
puts you in that
that's-
place,
yeah.
that puts you in that environment I can quickly
Yeah.
cut to.
Yeah.
It's little bits like that just will really elevate that film
Yeah.
that I just can't get on my own. It's just
Yeah.
the truth of it, It's a
Yeah.
run and gun day. Having somebody else there is so valuable in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. Do it. Offer it.
Oh, well,
I'm
I
sure
am.
people
So I'm
will-
just, yeah.
I'm sure people will go for it.
The mission is get people to think about videography
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Not first, but at least higher up on the list than the chocolate fountain. And, consider things like that, having a second,
Yeah.
just to elevate your,
Yeah.
elevate the memories that you're capturing for your wedding day.
Yeah. Be flexible as well. We talked about that.
We talked about, yeah.
Be sort of like open to the idea of getting pulled away from.
Entrust your suppliers with
Yeah.
they're the subject matter experts. So, go with what they are
Yeah.
good at, what they're experienced in.
Cool. How can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram and my website. So it's at Sean Raymond Films on Instagram and YouTube and TikTok and all those good things. And the website's seanraymondfilms.com.
Lovely to have you. Thank you so much for coming in today, Sean. It's
No
been
wor-
great, and I'll look forward to seeing you out on the wedding playing field.
No worries, Ollie.
Soon.
Thanks for having me, mate. And see you soon, no doubt.
Yeah. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Wedding Favours podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Please give me a follow on Instagram at olliestevens.music and at Wedding Favours Podcast. This podcast is produced by Steve Hindley at iNarrator.